Time now for the morning rush. There are some new details of how a prescribed burn in northern New Mexico quickly got out of control, turning into the largest wildfire in recorded state history. On April the 6th, what became the Hermits Peak Fire started as a test fire in the Las Despensas area. Oh, that report shows the conditions in the area and a delay as causes for it getting out of control. Communities across the state are now bracing for flooding as the rain is set to yet bring another disaster to their already fire-ravaged communities. Now, fortunately, yesterday's rains did not lead to any major flooding. We will, of course, continue following the wet weather for you throughout the day here on News 13. Many families affected by the Hermits Peak Fire are still left homeless as they are still waiting for federal disaster relief after their homes were destroyed. If you have been denied by FEMA, you are able to appeal that decision 60 days after receiving that determination letter. Well, there is some good news this morning for the crews battling that wildfire, as the rains are now helping to keep it from getting any bigger. The state's largest wildfire is now holding steady at about 341,000 acres in size and remains 72% contained. Erica.
And here's a look at our hourly forecast this morning. Temperatures are in the low 60s through the entire morning commute, and we'll be seeing rain showers until the mid-morning. We'll see those becoming a bit more scattered with drier times during the midday.
Meanwhile, down south, the black fire in the Gila National Forest has stayed at 325,000 acres for several days now, and it is still 68% contained. Fire officials say that they are keeping an eye on the storm and the risk of lightning strikes igniting areas around the fire. Well, the clash between OTERO County commissioners and the state over certifying recent election results is in the spotlight at the January 6th committee hearing. Well, one congressman held up OTERO County as an example of how former President Trump's claims of voter fraud in 2020 continue to reverberate. Last week, the commission did finally certify those results. Erica.
And here's a look at the threat index. It's high today, as we'll be seeing widespread rain through the metro, flash flooding potential, especially around the burn scars in the northern mountains.
Happening today, a Florida man who pleaded guilty to a deadly crash on I-40 is scheduled to be sentenced. Brett Nelson plowed into the back of another car, killing Patrick Mullane. Now, he could have faced 6 years in prison for vehicular homicide had he gone to trial. Under his plea deal, he faces no more than 4 years. The head of the Texas Department of Public Safety is calling the police response to the UVALDE mass shooting as an abject failure. He says the officers had enough manpower, firepower, and time to stop the gunman 3 minutes after he entered Robb Elementary. Police waited 74 minutes before breaching what is now said to be an unlocked door. A strong earthquake in Afghanistan has now claimed hundreds of lives. According to the USGS, a magnitude 5.9 earthquake hit the eastern part of the country near the Pakistan border. The Taliban's state-run news agency says that at least 250 people have died as a result of the quake, but that number may change because of the remote areas affected. Erica.
And here's a look at the traffic maps this morning. There is a construction slowdown at I-40 near 98th Street. Everywhere else is still looking clear and moving at speed, but it is a wet morning out there. Tracker is on Central near downtown. The roads are very wet, so be sure to give yourself some extra time for the morning commute.
Well, people across India unite to celebrate International Yoga Day. From the palace grounds to the Himalayas, people showed off their skills and love for the ancient practice. International Yoga Day has been celebrated worldwide since its inception by the United Nations General Assembly back in 2014.
And it's time now for the 5 facts. At number 5, a unique exhibit focusing on the lighter side of things is opening at the Albuquerque Museum. The exhibition Wit, Humor, and Satire opens this Saturday. There's everything from paintings to sculptures and photography. Each one is designed to put a smile on your face. The artwork is all part of the museum's permanent collection.
At number 4, this morning, street racers in Bernalillo County will now face some new consequences after commissioners approved a new law. Violators will face a $300 fine and up to 3 months in jail. The county's ordinance also applies to spectators at these events. Sponsors cited recent high-profile crashes attributed to street racing, including February's school bus rollover on the west side.
And at number 3, we are going to be seeing those rain showers through the morning commute here in Albuquerque. You can expect that rain to continue through mid-morning and heavy rain to be spreading into the northern mountains through the rest of the day.
And number 2, an Albuquerque city councilor is taking action to reverse course this morning after voting in favor of allowing sanctioned homeless encampments. Brooke Bassan faced backlash after voting for the zoning changes that would allow the camps. Following the outcry, Bassan said that she respects the community's concerns and she said she plans to introduce a proposal to repeal the decision at tonight's city council meeting. And at #1 this morning, there are some new details of how a prescribed burn in northern New Mexico quickly got out of control, turning into the largest wildfire in recorded state history. On April 6th, what became the Hermits Peak Calf Canyon fire started as a test fire in the Las Despensas area, and then it quickly got out of control 3 hours later. Now, within weeks, tens of thousands of people were forced to leave their homes, and the fire consuming more than 400 of those. Now, the report also shows the prescribed burn was planned 3 years ago, but it was delayed by a government shutdown and the pandemic. Now, the report also shows that there were not enough crews on scene that day and a failure to create fire lines to keep that fire contained.